Part 20. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 192. After the award ceremony for the individual competition, everyone in the academy became even more curious about the Star Sea Fleet established by Qin Ji. There is no other reason, because there are actually 3 people from the Star Sea Fleet among the top 8, and 2 of them are still freshmen this year. This is an incredible thing. Perhaps it can be said that they were lucky in the draw, but even so, it shows that they are already at the top of their grade. And counting their battle records, there are many sophomores among them. Someone also discovered that all the mentioned members of the Star Sea Fleet have a second ship girl, including first-year students. Moreover, the training levels of these ship girls are very high, even approaching the training levels of some second-year students. Moreover, Chen Beijun also said later that he was able to win first place this time because Qin Ji did not participate. If Qin Ji participates, then the title of first place will definitely belong to him, and there will be no second person. After finishing, various speculations about the Star Sea Fleet spread in the school. But the commander of the large fleet is now eating together with his members in the banquet hall of the guest house. Come on, I'm here to congratulate everyone on your good results in this individual competition. Qin Ji stood up, picked up the wine glass on the table and said to everyone. Thank you, Commander. A group of people stood up and expressed their gratitude to Qin Ji. As everyone drank the wine in their glasses, they sat down again and started chatting. Commander, do you think that if Chen Beijun speaks like this, more people will join our fleet in the future? His speech is equivalent to an advertisement for our fleet, Zhang Xiaotian said to Qin Ji. Qin Ji smiled and nodded. I think there may be, but not too many, because most people are curious about our fleet now, so they are more curious and want to learn more about it. But you also know that our construction team has to go to the front line. Many people are unwilling to go to the front line. After all, the death rate on the front line is too high. So after they understand the specific things, their enthusiasm will not be as high as it is now, but will gradually calm down. If someone joins our big fleet at this time, then he is already ready, so now we don't have to rush to recruit other people. Instead, we should pay attention to the team competition in front of us, which can better show the strength of our big fleet. The commander is right. Now that I have raised this topic, they will focus on observing the performance of a few of us to measure the future development of our fleet and its strength in the near future. If we make some achievements in the subsequent team competition and win first place again, then I think they will give us full recognition of our strength. As long as it meets the purpose of our fleet, then we will definitely someone consider us. Chen Beijun said to everyone. Yes, Baijun and I have the same view. Our fleet has passed the predicament at the beginning of its establishment. Therefore, in the subsequent personnel recruitment process, we must focus on aspects such as personal strength and teamwork. After all, we will take part in the real battle after 2 years, Li Chenming said. But Baijun is graduating soon and will no longer be in school. What are you going to do? Wang Yukan asked. Chen Beijun looked at everyone and said, I am going to do a commission task for a period of time, of course in the name of our fleet. Qin Ji waved his hand. We'll talk about this later, because I have an idea. Thoughts? Everyone looked at Qin Ji in confusion. Yes, because it is already June, and the Siren Tide will be in October in 4 months. So before the Siren Tide arrives, I am going to discuss it with the Dean or Director Kang Long of the Maritime Safety Bureau to let the large fleet is going to pick up support tasks and conduct real actual combat, Qin Ji said while looking at everyone. So when the time comes, if any of you participate, then I will lead the team and we will complete the task together. Of course, if you don't participate, you can just continue studying in the academy, Qin Ji said to several others, said the senior. Participate, of course, Li Chenming said immediately. Brother Yuking, you are a master tactician here, what are we afraid of? And in terms of our strength, We are now almost the same as some second-year graduates. So even if we really face the Siren Tide, we still have the strength to fight. Yes, even though we don't have a station yet, I think it's okay to participate in Siren Tide in this way and accumulate my own practical experience and awareness, Zhang Xiaotian said. I agree. Isn't it just for this day that we became commanders? Now we have the strength to face these. So if we don't dare to fight under such a strong command and leadership as the commander at this time, then we can only stay here for the rest of our lives. It's offshore, Wang Yukan said. Similarly, if you sign up then, count me in, Zhang Yingwei said. Haha, don't worry, this is just an idea. The specific situation will depend on the arrangements. Maybe we won't have to do support missions, but will serve as a support force and join some relatively weak fleets. Qin Ji said to everyone. Anyway, just listen to the commander then, Zhang Xiaotian chuckled. Don't worry, Qin Ji said with a smile, then raised his glass, and everyone drank again and started chatting. Although Qin Ji's establishment of a large fleet has been widely circulated among students, there is still a more important thing before everyone, and that is the team competition. The team competition field was doubled, so the team competition was divided into 5 fields. Qin Ji did not become a referee this time, and he had another identity, that is, a challenger. This is why Anshan promised before that he could participate in the practice league, but he would not receive any rewards or affect the rankings of others. The Xingai Fleet Team Competition team has been formed. They are the winning team composed of Chen Beijun, Wang Yukan, and Li Chenming, and the temporary team composed of Zhang Xiaotian, Zhang Yingwei, and a random commander who is close to them. When the sun rose on a new day, a large number of commanders gathered outside the exercise area because the rules of the team competition had been informed at the end of the individual competition yesterday. A group leader of 3 is required. After registering in Anshan, the group drawing can be conducted. But now, each captain is gearing up and preparing to show off their skills. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 193. Congratulations. The moment they saw the results of the individual finals came out, other members of the Xingai fleet gathered around and congratulated Chen Beijun for winning the championship. Chen Beijun looked at his companions and Qin Ji, who was walking over not far away, and showed a silly smile for the first time, changing his previous calm and mature expression. It's a fluke, it's just a fluke, thank you everyone. Seeing Chen Beijun's naive state, the others couldn't help but laugh. At this time, Qin Ji also came to his side. Good tactics. Congratulations, Baijun. This is all the cultivation of the commander. If it weren't for you, then I would never have won the individual competition. Chen Beijun thanked Qin Ji sincerely. Others around him also nodded in agreement. Without Qin Ji's call, without his corresponding training methods and drill tactics, they would now be just like these ordinary first-year students, perhaps even worse than them. This individual competition final is based on your own efforts and strength. Don't deny yourself so easily, Qin Ji said with a smile. At this moment, Chen Beijun's last ship girl, Firefly, had also jumped onto the dock. She ran towards Chen Beijun at full speed, calling for the commander as she ran. At this time, Chen Beijun knelt down, opened his arms and hugged the hero who flew towards him, and stood up while hugging him. Commander, Commander, did you see my million-head hammer at the end? Isn't it awesome? Firefly asked Chen Beijun with a proud look on his face. Awesome, awesome, Chen Beijun said with a smile. Hee, right? I told you that my million-head butt is very powerful. The commander didn't believe it before and said he wouldn't let me hit her. Do you think I can win if I hit her? Firefly looked happily at Chen Beijun. Said. But it's still too dangerous. You should use it less in the future, unless it's absolutely necessary, you know, Chen Beijun said to the Firefly. Hey, I know, Firefly said impatiently, Commander, kiss me, you promised me before. When Firefly said these words, Chen Beijun's face suddenly turned dark. The people on the side burst into laughter, and Li Chenming laughed so hard that he couldn't stand up straight. Chen Beijun, it turns out you like this kind of thing, I really didn't notice it before. Haha, that's right. The fireflies are still so small. Chen Beijun, aren't you afraid of the gendarmerie? Wang Yukan said from the side. What do you know? Chen Beijun is called caring. He should treat Firefly as his sister, Zhang Yingwei said. Zhang Xiaotian on the side grinned and said to Zhang Yingwei, there was nothing wrong at first. Why do I feel that something is even more wrong after you explained it? Chen Beijun's face darkened even more after hearing these words. He suddenly felt that everyone around him was just watching the fun and not taking it too seriously. At this time, he couldn't help but look at Qin Ji. I saw Qin Ji and his ship girl whispering something, but they didn't look here for a while. Just when he felt helpless, the voice on the stage beside him was like the sound of nature, saving him. Now let us welcome the individual competition champion Chen Beijun and his ship girls to the stage to receive the award. At this time, Qin Ji turned his head and glanced at Anshan on the stage, then smiled and said to Chen Beijun, go and welcome the glory that belongs to you. Yes, Commander. Chen Beijun nodded solemnly, and then took his ship girl with him to the stage. Suddenly, applause resounded through the sky like thunder, and in the midst of this applause, Chen Beijun and his ship girl stood in the center of the stage and took the first place honor trophy from Anshan's hand. Commander Chen Beijun, as the winner of this individual competition, do you have any experience and skills to share with us? I think the commanders in the audience will definitely want to hear your sharing, Anshan said to Chen Beijun said. Chen Beijun took the microphone from Anshan's hand and looked at the dark crowd below and the expectant expressions on their faces, and couldn't help but feel a little excited. Hello everyone, I am Chen Beijun, a second-year graduate. I am very honored to stand here today to accept the award of the individual exercise competition champion. Here I am very grateful to my ship girls, because they are loyal to my tactics and I have exerted my own strength to achieve this moment. And the next person I need to thank the most is my Grand Fleet Commander, Mentor Qin Ji. When Chen Beijun said this, Qin Ji couldn't help but smile, and then several other people from the Xingai fleet also looked at Qin Ji with smiles on their faces. They felt the same as Chen Beijun at this time, but there was someone who needed to be thanked very much, so naturally it was Qin Ji. But the other commanders don't know what it means. After all, they all know Qin Ji. He is the instructor of the tactics class and a first-year student in the school. But what does the commander of the fleet mean? Seeing the confused crowd underground, Chen Beijun said, some people may be wondering why instructor Qin Ji became the commander of the fleet when he is still a first-year student and still in school. In fact, this has to start from the beginning. At that time, several of us accepted the invitation of first-year student Li Chenming to join a large fleet that had not yet been formed, and that large fleet was the prototype of the large fleet I am in now. At that time, I remember that 8 people went, but only 5 people stayed, and those 5 people included me. We became the first batch of people in the Star Sea fleet. Later, because instructor Qin Ji's fleet was strong enough to become the commander of a large fleet, after special approval from the Maritime Safety Administration, our Xingai fleet was named by the Maritime Safety Administration. After that, we trained together and grew up together, and finally I am where I am today. I didn't dare to think about standing on this stage at the beginning, but now I am standing on it. This is naturally because of Mentor Qin Ji, and of course my own efforts. So I would like to take this opportunity to express my most heartfelt thanks to instructor Qin Ji, and to everyone in our Xingai fleet. It is our mutual help along the way that makes me who I am today. When Chen Beijun finished speaking and handed the microphone to Anshan, thunderous applause broke out. And amidst such applause, the name Star Sea Fleet appeared in the crowd side for the first time. Some people were lost in thought, including some first-year students and some sophomores who were about to graduate. They had heard such things before, but they had always regarded them as jokes because after all, there was too much uncertainty about the large fleet assembled in the school. But now no one dares to make this matter a joke, because they know from Chen Beijun's dictation that this large fleet has been established at the Maritime Safety Administration. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 195. The overall number of participants in the team competition is still not as large as that in the individual competition. In the end, the number of people who signed up in Anshan was only about 100 teams. After all, the gap between the first-year students and the second-year students had been seen before in the individual competition, and after the team competition, the advantage of the second-year students became even wider. Therefore, relatively few first-year students participated in the team competition. Most of them had the mentality of practicing and communicating with their seniors, and called a few close friends to form a team to sign up. There are still relatively few first and second grade players like Chen Beijun, Li Chenming, and Wang Yukan. Waiting for all the captains to draw lots, they then entered into battles one after another. The rules for the team competition are different from the rules for the individual competition, so everyone basically already knows what to do. However, compared to the individual competition and team competition, there is an additional commanding position. That is to say, all ships in the fleet are equipped with communication devices, and then one person in the team is selected to command the entire team. Therefore, there is great emphasis on team collaboration and cooperation, as well as mutual trust between teams. Because if there is no mutual trust, then it is very likely that the ship girls of three different commanders will be unwilling to choose to obey each other's instructions and act according to their own will. This will cause the entire common front to collapse, and then the other party will be destroyed. This leads to the fact that even if the team adds a few more ship girls and adds some firepower, it will end much faster than the individual competition. Of course, there are also some slow ones, such as failure to grasp the attack rhythm or confusion of attack targets, etc. This is really an exercise, as Anshan said before. If such behavior occurs on the battlefield, the consequences will be unimaginable. Therefore, the purpose of the team competition is to remind commanders that although personal factors are important, in a real battle, no one will fight with you alone. The real strength is the strength of the team. This purpose was especially evident when the commanders faced off against Chen Beijun, Li Chenming, and Wang Yukan. The brilliant coordination and impenetrable attack left the commanders who faced them exhausted and unable to find any way to break the situation. Even if they wanted to rely on their own ship girls to break out of a breakout line, they were all exhausted. Was mastered by the opponent, and then defeated this idea in the early stages. Therefore, compared to the individual competition, the team competition has almost become a performance stage for a few members of the Xinhai fleet. No commander could withstand a few attacks in front of their combination, and they were defeated one after another. When the team competition lasted for the third day and Chen Beijun and the other two stepped onto the podium, everyone seemed to be in a dream. And this dream is still fresh in the memory of the entire second grade class. Because at this time last year, some people also stood on the championship stage, but those people relied on the strength and large number of their own ship girls to win. But this year, all of them who met Chen Beijun and the others were convinced by their defeat. Oral. Because the opponent not only completely defeated them in terms of the training level of the ship girl, but also completely defeated them in terms of command. So if everyone was only curious about the Star Sea fleet when the individual ended before, then this time the team competition ends with full of yearning for the Star Sea fleet. Because most first-year students discovered that students of the same grade actually outperformed second-year students in tactics. It also allowed them to understand what the strength of a team is. So when the three people came on the court, there was warm applause from the audience, and everyone looked at them with eyes of admiration and hope. Commander Chen Beijun, this is the second time you have stepped onto the podium in the past few days. Compared with the previous individual championships, what do you think the team championship means to you? What do you need to talk to us? Shared by many commanders. Following Anshan's inquiry, Chen Beijun took the microphone. Actually, for me, I think the championship of the team competition is far more worthy of being remembered and excited than the championship of the individual competition. Because our commander has said that the key performance of some people on the battlefield may be able to change a local battlefield. But to truly fundamentally change the entire battlefield environment, it must be the strength of the team, so our training has always been based on the team. The method used is the 3x3 method that the commander taught in the tactics class before. If you have listened to that class carefully, you should be clear about the tactics we have used. Therefore, winning the team competition this time is a recognition of the principles we have always adhered to and encourages us to continue to work together and work hard to carry forward our Xingai fleet. Anshan smiled and looked at Qin Ji, who was nodding in the audience, then rolled his eyes and said to several people, Commander Chen Beijun has always talked about the advantages of Commander Qin Ji and the benefits of joining the Star Sea Fleet. So let me ask here, do you want to recruit people for the Star Sea Fleet this time? I have this idea. After all, I will graduate soon, and then the number of people in the Star Sea Fleet will be reduced. So I hope to attract more people to join our Star Sea Fleet through such an exercise league, and join our new a large fleet was established. But let me make it clear here that because our fleet is newly established, it does not have as generous resources for you to use as other fleets, but there will also be corresponding subsidies, and the training in the fleet is relatively strict. So you need to think carefully before joining the Grand Fleet. Furthermore, our large fleet is a large fleet preparing to go to the front line, so what we need are brave men and people who dare to face real dangers. So if you choose our fleet, you should consider everything in advance. Chen Beijun said while looking at the excited crowd below. And Chen Beijun's words were like a basin of cold water poured directly on the heads of those excited people. After all, there are very few large armies that target the front line, and now a large fleet that has not left the campus must target the front line. Just think about it. It seems that Commander Chen Beijun made it very clear. I believe others have understood it. If they want to join your fleet, they don't know who to contact? Is it the commander of the Grand Fleet, Instructor Qin Ji, or you? Anshan said with a smile. I am just an ordinary member of the Grand Fleet. The current commander of the Grand Fleet is Instructor Qin Ji, and the deputy commander of the Grand Fleet is Li Chenming next to me. So if you want to join our fleet, please contact Deputy Commander Li Chenming. Chen Beijun said to Anshan with a smile. I'm really surprised that you, who is so powerful, are not the deputy commander of your fleet, Anshan said with some surprise. Our commander said something that I think is quite good. That is, the division of labor in the revolution is different, so each of us accepts the assignment, Chen Beijun replied. My ship girl, my world. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 196. Haha, I really didn't expect that the deputy commander of the Star Sea Fleet is actually a first-year student. It seems that Commander Li Chenming must have something special, Anshan said with a smile. Of course, every deputy commander of the fleet needs to be responsible for the members of the fleet and for the logistics of the fleet, so every deputy commander must. Okay, let's talk about Mentor Qin Ji and the winner Chen Beijun's fleet here first, Anshan smiled and said, then it's our turn for the annual challenge. Previously, we all came from the Maritime Safety Administration, or the long-established Mingsu was transferred from the headquarters to let you compete on the same stage. However, over the years, we have found that such competitions are mostly for show, so we will not invite them this year. This time we have only one opponent in the challenge, and that is Instructor Qin Ji. Ah, everyone was in an uproar after knowing the result, but Chen Beijun and others were very calm, because Qin Ji had already told them before, and now it was just Anshan who confirmed it. Qin Ji smiled slightly at this time and stepped onto the stage. 11 ship girls stood behind him, instantly taking away all the attention of the audience. Teacher Qin Ji hasn't brought a ship girl to class for a long time. Before he knew it, he already had 11 ship girls. He is only a first-year student this year. Not only that, have you noticed that half of Teacher Qin Ji's ship girls are super rare class ship girls? And they're all big. Obviously those two destroyers, no, one destroyer is still relatively small. It's so enviable. No, you said that Instructor Qin Ji already has 11 ship girls, so how many ship girls will he have by the time he graduates? When someone asked about this sentence, all the commanders around this person shut up. Yes, the first grade has just ended, and Qin Ji already has 11 ship girls. So what will happen 1 year later? These people dare not calculate, or they have never seen such a situation at all. Nowadays, no one says that Qin Ji is a European, because with this kind of luck, Europeans are no longer worthy of carrying his shoes. And looking at the auras emanating from these ship girls, basically every one of them has broken through at least twice. What's more, it has been broken through 3 times. Because in the previous individual competition, it can be seen that Qin Ji's ship girl acted as a referee. After all, every referee's standard is a broken ship girl. Everyone now looked at Qin Ji on the stage with a hint of fanaticism and a hint of respect. When you are a little stronger than others, others may be jealous. But when your strength is so much stronger than others and it has become an insurmountable gap, then others will only look at you with respect. This is the case at this moment, because Qin Ji has surpassed them so much that they can't even see Qin Ji. While still in the academy, in the first grade, he had the strength to become a commander of a large fleet, which is not something ordinary people can have. And when everyone was talking and daydreaming, Anshan came to Qin Ji and said to Qin Ji, "Teacher Qin Ji, how do you feel when you see members of your fleet standing on the podium?" "If I talk about feelings, then I am sincerely happy for them," Qin Ji said to Anshan with a smile. "Oh, is it that simple?" Anshan said with a smile. Looking at the microphone handed to him, Qin Ji couldn't help but take it. After that, he did not look at Li Chenming and the others, but at the commanders below. "If possible, I would like to give the second grade students the last tactical lesson here." Qin Ji couldn't help but laugh. Oh, after Qin Ji finished speaking, warm applause broke out from below. What Qin Ji can say here is definitely not an ordinary thing. Although they have taken many tactics classes, they will feel a sudden enlightenment every time they listen to Qin Ji's lectures. So this time too, the applause was loud and passionate. Anshan on the side smiled helplessly and could only let Qin Ji hold the microphone and continue talking. The name of today's tactical lesson is team, or unity. After Qin Ji finished speaking, he looked at the confused people below and said with a smile, "Maybe many of you don't understand what I said. What is the specific meaning? But here now, I will explain it clearly to you. What are the tactics? I'm sure many of you understand this by now, but what does it take to implement tactics? Do you know? From the beginning to the present, I have taught you offensive tactics, defensive tactics, breakout tactics, break-up tactics, segmentation tactics, etc. But what's most critical about implementing these tactics? Maybe you've never thought about it, right?" The commanders below couldn't help but fell into deep thought when they heard such words. Yes, the tactics are out there and anyone can understand them, but when it comes to implementation, why are so many people different? Looking at these confused commanders, Qin Ji continued, "Then let me tell you today, no matter what tactics are implemented, the most important thing is discipline. I believe that after you give the order, Your ship girl will absolutely implement your instructions. This is the manifestation of the ship girl's discipline. After graduating from the Commander Academy, what you will encounter will be a large fleet, or a team. Then it will no longer be loose inside. He has his rules, he has his discipline, and it is discipline and rules that have become the core of this large fleet or this team. You must abide by the discipline of the Grand Fleet and execute every order without any conditions or objections. Only in this way can every order be implemented and every tactic implemented. And it is precisely because of this kind of discipline that an ironclad team can be formed, with one mind and one direction, and can be invincible and invincible. If there are several opinions in a team, the team will be confused, stand still, or even regress and then be destroyed. Qin Ji spoke for almost 10 minutes before he stopped and looked at Anshin, who was helpless on the side, as well as several smiling instructors sitting in the audience. He couldn't help but touch his nose. Okay, I'm almost in the zone. That's it for today. I hope you can gain some insights based on the previous team competition and the knowledge I just told you. After all, guarding Dong Huang and fighting against the siren is not a battle of one person, but a battle of a group of people. After Qin Ji handed the microphone to Anshin, warm applause broke out from the ground. Anshin looked at the scene and couldn't help but smile and said, "Since you like it so much, then I don't blame instructor Qin Ji for taking up our stage time. So next comes the long-awaited challenge, and this time the challenge is led by the deputy commander of the Star Sea Fleet to challenge the commander. Haha, it's time to watch the show. My Ship Girl, My World." Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 197. Qin Ji looked at Anshin, which was full of people watching the fun, and said to Li Chenming and the others, "When I held exercises with you many times before, I asked Guanghui not to play, or others stayed, but this time I won't let them hold back once. After all, you appear in front of me as a challenger. If I stay behind, it will appear that I disrespect you. So, be mentally prepared, this time I will go all out." "Okay, then please ask the commander to come over," Chen Beijun and others said to Qin Ji. Oh, the crowd below burst into enthusiastic roars. After all, they had seen exhibition games before, and most of them were performances. But as a commander, I still like to see such real battles with real swords and guns. Haha, it seems that both sides have finished talking. Then we will ask the players from both sides to gather their ship girls and prepare to launch into the water and go to the exercise area, Anshin said at the right time. Qin Ji and Li Chenming smiled at each other, walked off the stage from both ends, and walked to the edge of the pier. "Commander, do you really plan to use all our strength to fight against a few of them this time? Usually the 5 of them are no match for us. If this is the case now, wouldn't it be bullying them too much?" the centaur-faced Qin Song said. "We usually do exercises and training together, so naturally we have to keep our hands when we should. But this time it is not an exercise and training, but they come to challenge us as a challenger. Therefore, as those being challenged, we should respond to them with all our strength. This is their glory. If they hold anything back, it would be disrespectful to their challenge," Qin Ji said while looking at the 3 people and their ship girls who were having a heated discussion in the distance. "The commander is right." Prince Yujin nodded and said, "Usually it's a training ground, anything is fine. Now it's a competition ground, under the watchful eyes of everyone, so it's about honor and belief. Responding enthusiastically to their challenges is what we should do. Yes, since they are ready to be challengers, they must have understood what they are facing. The power of the Empire has shined, and I, Vittorio Veneto, will definitely let them understand what it means to be a challenger." "The majesty of the Empire," Veneto said with a smile. Qin Ji looked at the few people who were full of fighting spirit and said with a smile, "Then let's use our latest set of offensive tactics. Use our strongest strength to make everyone realize their own gaps, and then move forward." "Bar." "Yes, The girls nodded, and then in Shin-Ji's eyes, they put on their communication devices, unfolded their ship suits one after another, jumped into the sea, and headed towards the standby area in the exercise area at high speed. On the other side, Li Chenming and others shipmates also jumped into the sea, paddling quickly towards the waiting area in the distance. After both sides entered the standby area, Taiyuan, who was refereeing this match, said to the communication device, "If both sides are ready, please let us know." "We are ready," Guanghui's voice came from the communication device. "We are also ready on the other side," Nevada's voice also came from the communication device. "Okay, both sides are ready, then this time the challenge begins." Following Taiyuan's voice, both sides began to take action. Qin-Ji's vanguard fleet and battleships began to advance forward, while Glory and Centaur stood still and took off 6 and 4 sorties of carrier-based fighter jets at the same time. But it is true that the Tejas and Centaur are both aircraft carriers competing for air supremacy, and the carrier-based aircraft they carry are mainly fighter jets, with torpedo aircraft as secondary. Therefore, at the beginning of the battle, seizing air supremacy with all their strength became their main responsibility. In an instant, 10 fighter jets roared past everyone's heads and quickly pounced on the opposite camp to detect the formation ahead and seize air superiority. On the other side, the Wasp's carrier-based aircraft also took off at the same time, but compared to the Glory and Centaur taking off 10 fighter jets at once, the Wasp's breakthrough only once pales in comparison. She flew 4 aircraft at one time, but these 4 aircraft included 2 fighter jets, 1 bomber and 1 torpedo aircraft. There were only 2 fighter jets that could compete for air supremacy, but Qin-Ji's side had 10 fighter jets. Soon, the carrier-based aircraft groups of both sides met. Soon the fighter jets burst into flames, and the aircraft from both sides fought together. But from the beginning, the outcome was already determined. The Centaur and Glory fighter jets quickly defeated the 4 carrier-based aircraft released by the Wasp. Beyond the fireworks produced by the explosion of 4 carrier-based aircraft in the air, 10 carrier-based aircraft quickly flew over the heads of the combined fleet. At this moment, the opponent's formation and position were all known to several people. In the joint fleet, looking at the planes flying overhead, Atlanta and others quickly raised their anti-aircraft guns and fired back at the planes in the sky. However, the gap in training and ship equipment makes Atlanta, as a specialized air defense ship, particularly difficult. Because she found that she could only bring a certain amount of damage to these carrier-based aircraft, but it was still far from shooting them down. Moreover, these carrier-based aircraft would drop an aerial bomb into their formation from time to time, so that their positions could only change according to the wishes of the other party. At this time, Helena's voice sounded in the communicator, "SG, lock the enemy's position. Bearing 213, distance 21 kilometers, lock on the opponent's battleship." After hearing Helena's report from the communicator, Veneto laughed and said, "Attention everyone, turn the muzzle." Immediately, Hai and Rodney turned their guns and aimed them in the direction Helena said. Veneto also pulled out the rapier from his waist and adjusted the muzzle to the direction Helena said. The flagship of the Imperial fleet, Vittorio Veneto, "Pull out the anchor," Veneto said, suddenly drawing down the rapier in his hand. The 3 battleships opened fire at the same time, and the huge noise shocked the entire exercise ground. Countless practice bombs dragged red light, drew an arc, and accurately hit Nevada. Looking at the red paint all over his body, Nevada couldn't help but look in the direction of the cannonballs, and then said helplessly, "The salvos of 3 battleships, plus radar scanning and positioning, you really think highly of me." But that being said, the drill rules still have to be followed. So Nevada turned around and was the first to glide towards the shore. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Muji. Chapter 198. When the battleship group's salvo killed Nevada, on the edge of the stage, a group of commanders were also watching the broadcast of this exercise attentively. Instructor Qin Ji's fleet strength is too terrifying. From the moment 10 fighter jets began to compete for air supremacy, the situation on the entire battlefield has been in his hands. Yes, after the air supremacy was in the hands of Instructor Qin Ji, the ship girls on the opposite side were always threatened by the carrier-based aircraft flying overhead. Aerial bombs were also dropped to force these ship girls to move, making their defensive formation more dispersed, thereby dividing the entire formation. And have you discovered it? Instructor Qin Ji's shipgirl linkage is very strong. After the carrier-based aircraft group discovered the entire enemy's position arrangement, Helena began to confirm the location of the opponent's main force and gave the signal, and then the battleships all aimed and fired. And the shooting accuracy is very high. At a distance of 21 kilometers, the 3 battleship salvos hit the target completely. It only took one shot to destroy the opponent's capital ship. The best part is next. Look, the torpedo plane formation of the aircraft carrier has already set off, and the vanguard fleet has already approached the opponent's carrier. While the commanders were discussing, Belfast, Prince Eugen, Ayanamai, Helena, Spence, and Node had already approached each other's ship girl. Due to the seizure of air supremacy, the opponent's ship's formation and positioning have been forced to disperse. At this time, facing the attack formation of Qin Ji's ship's mother, it is simply an egg against a rock. Volley, still volley. When there is an advantage in numbers and firepower, a concentrated salvo attack has become the best option to maintain the advantage. Moreover, just when the distance of the torpedoes was enough, several ship girls who owned torpedoes launched torpedoes under the water. And at this time, the torpedo planes of the 2 aircraft carrier girls were already in place, and the 6 torpedo planes followed the torpedoes fired by the carrier girls who had torpedoes before, and also launched their own torpedoes. When a screen full of torpedoes appeared on the live broadcast screen of the stage, all the commanders couldn't help but feel numb when they looked at this scene. In such a torpedo array, as long as any ship girl touches a torpedo, the only thing waiting for her is to sink. But at this time, an even more annoying scene appeared. Belfast at the front did not take advantage of the victory to pursue it. Instead, it stopped on the spot and released smoke bombs. The ship girls who were about to aim at them all couldn't find the exact direction to aim. So shameless. So dirty. A group of commanders below complained about Li Chenming and others, but they only complained verbally. Because Qin Ji's tactics and strategy displayed by his ship girl in this battle were typical examples that appeared in all his previous teachings. Seize air supremacy, divide enemy formations, strike with precision, and work step by step to maximize your advantages. Let this battle, which has no suspense in itself, become even more cruel. Everyone was thinking, if they faced Qin Ji's offensive with their own fleet, would they be able to counterattack? Can he win? I'm afraid my performance is worse than the 3 of them, right? Looking at the 3 people who were still communicating with their shipmates, replenishing their positions, and retreating again, all the commanders couldn't help but cheer for them from the bottom of their hearts. However, all is in vain. When the torpedo group approached the opponent's ship, everyone just reacted and it was already too late to avoid it. Following the 2 explosions, 2 more ship girls were sentenced to sinking and couldn't help but leave the venue. At this time, the number of people on the other side was 4, while the number of people on Qin Ji's side was still 11. Moreover, 11 people were intact and had no injuries at all. When the smoke bomb was about to dissipate, the 4 ship girls who gathered together to form an attack position discovered it. More than a dozen shells were already dragging red flames, heading west towards where they were. Just as they were dodging to avoid the shells, Qin Ji's vanguard ship girl had already broken through the smoke bombs and fired volleys at the location of several people. With the thick sound of cannons, all the ship girls were sunk in this round of attacks. Taiyuan's voice echoed in the training ground, "The challenge is over. The winner is instructor Qin Ji and his ship girls." After all the ship girls from both sides returned to the dock, they all boarded the stage again. Facing the four people and their ship wives, all the commanders present stood up and applauded. Anshan came to several people with a microphone at this time and handed the microphone to Li Chenming. "How do you feel about this game?" Li Chenming smiled bitterly at Qin Ji and said to everyone, "Although a few of us had already predicted the outcome of this battle before, we didn't expect the gap to be so big. It turns out that when we were in joint exercises before, the commander always kept a hand." "Teacher Qin Ji, is what Deputy Commander Li Chenming said true?" "So you usually have a hand in joint exercises?" Anshan asked with a smile. Qin Ji laughed. "The previous joint exercises were just for them to consolidate their tactics and learn how to cooperate. As for the outcome of the exercise, the outcome was secondary. That's why they were able to perform very well in this practice league. This time it is a confrontational challenge. Naturally, we should go all out to show our opponents our true strength." "I see. It seems that instructor Qin Ji is very qualified as a commander, and also very qualified as a challenger," Anshan said with a smile, "but I see that the tactic you used today should be your latest development." "Tactics, right. It's not a newly developed tactic. It's also one of the offensive tactics, but it's a joint tactic of multiple ship types. The first goal I started using it was to target the tactics of the Siren fleet. Seize air supremacy, ensure air supremacy, and under the cover of air power, first sink the opponent's main ship type. Then, step by step, he nibbled away at the remaining fleet. In order to achieve the purpose of minimizing losses as much as possible, without losing anything, and destroying the opponent's fleet." Qin Ji explained. "Sure enough, it is a very offensive and defensive tactic. It seems that they can learn something this time," Anshan said with a smile. "Next it's your turn to comment on your challengers. Although they are all acquaintances and are in a large fleet, do you have anything to say about this game?" Following Anshan's question, Qin Ji looked at the three of them and said, "Keep working hard. Becoming the strongest in the academy has never been just our goal. Our goal is the front line, and the goal farther than the front line is the stars and the sea. So, go for it. My ship girl, my world." Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 199. Perhaps because of the results of the joint exercise, or because of Qin Ji's performance in the challenge, the reputation of the Star Sea Fleet is no longer what it was a few days ago. It is just popular. You're saying that there are a group of commanders who want to join our fleet, right? There are first-year and second-year students, right? Qin Ji smiled and looked at Li Chenming, who was a little worried. "Yes, you don't know. Since the last time you performed at the joint exercise, the door of my dormitory has been blocked by people every day. They are all clamoring to join our fleet, so now, I will come to you." "Yes," Li Chenming said to Qin Ji. "This is a good thing. It shows that the strength of our fleet has conquered them, but blocking your door every day is not a problem," Qin Ji said with a smile, and then thought for a moment. "Go over and count how many commanders there are. The officer wants to join our big fleet, so I have a calculation and plan." "So Qin Ji, are you planning to expand our fleet?" Li Chenming asked Qin Ji. "Yes, our fleet currently only has 6 people including me. At least our number must exceed double digits to form enough combat effectiveness to deal with any subsequent situations. So it's time to add new members, but this time is different from the previous one with Chen Beijun and others. We need to make a selection for the commanders who want to join our fleet. In addition, I will also discuss with Dean Prince of Wales later. Let's talk about what I told you before." Qin Ji said to Li Chenming. Li Chenming suddenly understood. He looked at Qin Ji in a funny way and said, It seems that you are planning to ask them to make a pledge, but if you say this now, I'm afraid there will be very few commanders who will join. I would rather have fewer people join, but also make sure that we are moving in the same direction, because if we recruit too many people now, it will lay hidden dangers for the future development of our fleet, Qin Ji said to Li Chenming. Arrive. That's what you said, so be it. Next, I will make a list of those who want to apply to join our fleet, and attach their personal information to it. You can go about your business now, Li Chenming said. Well, then I'll leave this matter to you, Qin Ji smiled. He, of course, I am the deputy commander of the Star Sea Fleet. If these things cannot be handled, then I will be really disappointed with your expectations. From now on, you will take over the tactical and command matters, and just leave these trivial chores to me. Li Chenming finished speaking with a smile, then turned and left the reception room of the guest house. After Li Chenming left, Helena stood behind Qin Ji and said, Commander, is this okay? They joined our fleet with passion. If we treat them like this, will they cause trouble? Are people criticizing me? Qin Ji shook his head. No, because as a large fleet, we are first and foremost responsible for the members of the large fleet. Our goal is always the front line, the place closest to the siren, so it is full of unknowns and risks. You must have a firm belief, otherwise it will easily cause your own internal collapse. Therefore, when selecting team members, you must be cautious and cautious. You are not only responsible for your own teammates in the Grand Fleet, but also responsible for those who join our Grand Fleet. Yes, I understand. Helena nodded and said, then shall we go to the Dean's place now? Qin Ji nodded, let's go. Such matters must be discussed with the Dean first, because no matter what, I am still a member of the Commander Academy. Yes. So Helena and Qin Ji walked towards the Dean's office together. When they arrived at the Dean's office, they found that the Prince of Wales was indeed in the Dean's office, leisurely drinking black tea and listening to music. The Dean seems to be in a good mood. Qin Ji looked at the situation after entering and couldn't help but smile. Haha, the work for the school year is about to be completed. Of course, I am still in a good mood. Why, Qin Ji, why did you come to see me this time? The Prince of Wales said with a smile. Actually, I originally wanted to wait until the start of school in the second half of the year to bring this matter up, but now that the exercise league is over, a group of people want to join my fleet, so it's better to confirm it in advance, Qin Ji said the Prince of Wales. Oh, talking about this, I also remembered that your fleet really stole the show this time. It won both the individual and team competitions. It did quite well, the Prince of Wales smiled. Thanks to the support of the Dean and Director Kang Long, our fleet can proceed so smoothly, Qin Ji said with a smile. We are just doing our job, and you have the glory in the large fleet, so you can naturally set up a small large fleet, the Prince of Wales said. Also, what did you just say? Does it need to be confirmed so early? Qin Ji said to the Prince of Wales, you also know that the goal of my fleet is the front line. Although we will definitely not be able to reach the front line immediately after graduation, we still have to continue working hard to get to the front line. Therefore, I plan to gather the members of my Grand Fleet and join the battlefield when the next Siren Tide arrives, to support war with war, and to use actual combat to promote the progress of the strength of the Grand Fleet. The Prince of Wales narrowed his eyes. So what you are saying is that you want to participate in the next Siren Tide, and you will participate in the form of a large fleet. Yes, I have an idea. That is, let us become a support force and go to some weakly defended areas to fight. This will not only reduce the pressure in those areas, but also allow us to face the battlefield directly and further familiarize ourselves with and use it. My own tactics, Qin Ji said to the Prince of Wales. Should I say that you are really bold? You are usually a graduating commander, afraid of the Siren Tide that you can't avoid, but you are actually a first-year student. Oh, wrong, you will be a second-year student by then. As a second-year student, you want to lead your own fleet to face the enemy directly. I have to say, it is really an amazing decision. But from what you said, why do I feel so surprised? The Prince of Wales said to Qin Ji. There is nothing we can do about it. Actual combat is the only way to test training, and it is also the fastest way to improve the strength of our fleet. I have the confidence and ability to lead my large fleet to meet the enemy, and I also have the confidence and strength to bring them all back, but before that, I still need to consult the Dean for his opinion. Qin Ji looked at the Prince of Wales and said. The Prince of Wales nodded, then thought for a moment, I think there is a better way. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Ji. Chapter 200. A better way. Qin Ji looked at the Prince of Wales with some confusion. Yes, although as a support force, sending you to weakly defended areas can indeed relieve the defensive pressure in weakly defended areas. However, it limits your organizational and tactical capabilities. Because after you go to that area, you can't make the decision to conduct tactical offense, defense, and retreat, but must cooperate with the actions of the local fleet. Although this can also train your large fleet, it is far from what you expected. So I have a better method here. I wonder if you are willing to try it? The Prince of Wales raised his head and smiled at Qin Ji. What method? Qin Ji asked in surprise. That is the Grand Fleet Mission, said the Prince of Wales. Big Fleet Mission? Qin Ji was a little confused. Yes, the tasks of the Maritime Safety Administration are divided into several types of tasks, including individual tasks, team tasks, and large fleet tasks. Personal tasks, as the name suggests, all the tasks that you usually accept by yourself are handed over to personal tasks. As for the team mission, it is a mission that cannot be completed by one person and requires the unity and cooperation of 2 to 3 or more commanders. It is called a team mission. As for the Grand Fleet Mission, it is a mission accepted by the entire Grand Fleet as a unit, and such missions are mostly to support defense, breakthrough, escort, etc. Therefore, such a large fleet mission is very autonomous, and you can choose and execute it according to your own situation. Moreover, missions released during wartime have a lot of contribution points. These contribution points can be exchanged for supplies and materials in the end, which will also be very beneficial to the future development of the fleet. The Prince of Wales explained to Qin Ji. I see. Qin Ji nodded, thanks to the Dean for his guidance. It doesn't matter. As the Dean, I should do what I should do at this time. I have watched you grow up with my own eyes, so I will definitely help you with the guidance you need. The Prince of Wales smiled. By the way, while you are here this time, I have one more thing to tell you. In the second half of this year, the school will have a new tactics instructor. Oh, Qin Ji looked at the Prince of Wales in surprise. Isn't that strange? The Prince of Wales said with a smile. Qin Ji scratched his head slightly, a little surprised. There is nothing we can do about it? The previous tactical instructor went back to the inland due to family reasons, so I had to put you on the shelf, the Prince of Wales said apologetically. It doesn't matter. Haven't we already said these things? What's more, without the help of the Dean, I wouldn't have achieved what I have now, Qin Ji said with a smile. Although I say that, as a first-year freshman, you have already helped the school too much. You have also helped Dong Huang and Azalain a lot. Besides, within the next year, you will leave the Commander Academy to start your career. If an outstanding talent like you stays in the Commander Academy, it will only be a waste of your talents, and the vast sea is the space where you can display your abilities. Therefore, the school's recruitment of tactical instructors is also in progress, and we are trying to recruit a new tactical instructor to take over your position before you leave. The Prince of Wales said to Qin Ji. Fortunately, we have now recruited a tactical instructor, but one thing that bothers me is that the course of this tactical instructor is definitely not as good as what you said. Therefore, we have thought of a way, that is, Starting from the next school year, let this tactical master follow you and learn as much as possible about your arrangement of tactical courses and the teaching materials you have written. This way, the quality of our academy's tactical courses will not drop after you leave. Qin Ji suddenly understood. Of course there is no problem with this. In fact, even if the dean doesn't say it, I am also worried about this problem. After all, if I leave, then the tactics class of the Commander Academy will be a problem. Now that the dean has found a suitable successor, I will definitely hand over everything I know to him. The Prince of Wales smiled and shook his head. It's not him, it's her. Huh? Qin Ji asked doubtfully, is it a female commander? After all, it has always been a tradition for humans to be the instructors of tactics classes, so Qin Ji was a little confused. Not a human being, but a ship girl, the Prince of Wales said. Oh? That's the case. Then he must be a master tactician, Qin Ji laughed. I'm not a master tactician. I should be considered a strategist. He is cautious in his words and deeds, brave and resourceful, the Prince of Wales said with a smile. Then I'm curious, who is she? Qin Ji asked. It's still confidential because it's still being discussed. Maybe you can meet her when school starts in the second half of the year, the Prince of Wales said. Qin Ji nodded. I understand, don't worry, Dean, when the new tactical instructor comes, I will definitely explain the work to her and do my best to help her understand the academy. I hope so, but don't do too well. Otherwise, if the tactical instructor we spent a lot of effort to find is kidnapped by you again, then we will suffer a big loss, the Prince of Wales pointed out. Said. Qin Ji couldn't help but blush. After all, Guanghui was abducted by him like that. Don't worry, it won't happen. Haha, just kidding, the Commander Academy is not a prison. We respect every teacher's choice. If they really find their commander and ask to leave, no one will stop them, the Prince of Wales laughed. Okay, besides what you just did, do you have anything else to do? No, Qin Ji shook his head and said, I also hope that the dean can inform Director Kang Long about it. After all, if we carry out the mission by then, our military rank will be relatively low. If we encounter some obstruction, then it's not good. Don't worry, I will notify Kang Long when the time comes, the Prince of Wales said. That's good, let's go first. After Qin Ji said with a smile, he saluted the Prince of Wales and left the office. On the way back to the guest house, Helena looked at Qin Ji, who was walking briskly in front of her, and asked with some confusion, Commander, you look happy. Yes, because all my worries have disappeared now. Even if I leave school, I don't have to worry about tactics classes. I will naturally feel very relaxed. Qin Ji turned to Helena and said. Helena smiled softly. I thought the commander would feel a little sad because of what the dean said. How could it be? Our journey is a more distant sea. The Commander Academy is just a stop on our journey. Although it is worth remembering, it will not be our destination. Qin Ji looked at the scorching sun in the distance. Said with a smile. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu. Chapter 201. What Qin Ji didn't expect was that not long after he returned to his room in the guest house from the dean's office, Li Chenming had already prepared the list form and sent it over. In the reception room, Qin Ji looked at the form in front of him and said with some surprise, Are you sure you made the right list? Li Chenming took a sip of the tea that Helena poured for him and said to Qin Ji, There is absolutely nothing wrong. And it can only be less, not more. Qin Ji glanced at Li Chenming suspiciously, raised his form and said, So there are really more than 40 people who want to join our fleet now. Li Chenming nodded. Maybe 40 people is a small number, maybe around 50 or 60 people. Too many. Our fleet is only in its initial stage now. According to the specifications given by the Maritime Safety Administration, we only have 20 places when it is full, Qin Ji said to Li Chenming. At the time, I thought that a dozen or so people would be able to come, but it turned out to be much better than I expected, with so many people coming all at once. But these numbers are indeed a problem now, because according to what you said, we can only recruit 14 more people at most to reach the current full strength of the fleet. So the choice is very important, but if someone comes so excitedly, it would not be good to refuse directly. What method do you think can be used to make a better adjustment? Li Chenming asked. Qin Ji nodded, just follow the previous method and tell them the facts clearly. I also went to the Dean just now to explain the future movements of our fleet, and the Dean also agreed. And she recommended that our Grand Fleet take on some Grand Fleet missions during the Siren Tide. This way we have a higher degree of autonomy, and we can also increase our Grand Fleet points, thereby improving the level of our Grand Fleet and getting better supplies and personnel. Quota. That's okay, Li Chenming said to Qin Ji. At that time we were still worried about personnel, but now we are thinking about how to reject others. Such rapid changes make me a little uncomfortable. Qin Ji smiled slightly. This is the growth of our fleet, and this is also your growth. Because we have something that makes them envious, that's why they want to join our fleet. As long as we continue to work hard and resolutely like this, our Grand Fleet will become a place that every commander longs for, just like those famous Grand Fleets before it. I have always believed in it. From the moment I told you to build a large fleet, I believed in it. Li Chenming smiled. Haha, sooner rather than later, can you contact the people on this list now? Qin Ji said to Li Chenming. Of course, because there are no classes these 2 days and they are all in the dormitory area. Li Chenming nodded and said. Then you go call our people and bring them to our usual training place. Then I will confirm the number of people there and complete the formation of our fleet, Qin Ji said to Li Chenming. No problem, Li Chenming nodded, then put down the half-drunk tea in his hand and walked out. Qin Ji looked at Li Chenming's hurried figure and couldn't help but smile at Helena beside him. It seems that Li Chenming is still very concerned about building a large fleet, and with his ability, he can definitely do a good job as deputy commander. Location. I think that even if Commander Li Chenming is slightly less capable, the commander will not give the position of deputy commander of the fleet to someone else, right? Helena said on the side. Qin Ji nodded towards Helena. Yes, because he and I are both the founders of this great fleet. Without him, this great fleet would not exist, so the position of deputy commander of the great fleet will always be his. This is where commander values friendship. Helena smiled. Haha, Qin Ji smiled. By the way, Helena, who is going out on a mission today? Commander, in addition to me, there are also Miss Guanghui, Miss Prince Yujin, and Miss Hai. As for the others, they have all gone to do their tasks. Helena replied very quickly. Okay, then go and ask them to gather with me at the training ground, Qin Ji said to Helena. Yes, Commander. Helena nodded and immediately went upstairs to call someone. After a while, several people followed Helena down and saw Qin Ji waiting under the stairs. Commander, several ship girls said hello. Well, let's go to the training ground together. Li Chenming has already gone to summon the commanders who are going to join our fleet, Qin Ji said to several people. Helena has just told us, so don't worry, Commander Guanghui said with a smile. That's good. Qin Ji nodded and led a few people towards the training ground. But when a few people arrived, there was no one on the training ground. But this is normal. After all, Li Chenming used to give notifications one by one, so it would take more time. After a few people waited for a while, the first people to come over were a few people from the original fleet. Chen Beijun, Wang Yukan, Zhang Xiaotian, Zhang Yingwei, and others. Hello, Commander. Several people greeted Qin Ji. Hello. Qin Ji smiled. Originally, you should rest after the game, but because this time it is about the fleet, I am really embarrassed to call you here. It doesn't matter. In fact, we will come even if the commander doesn't call. After all, this is a good opportunity to meet our new members. As one of the founders, we are still very honored, Wang Yukin said with a smile. Really, Qin Ji smiled, but I never thought before that so many people would apply for our fleet at one time. This is all because of the commander's wonderful performance in the challenge before, Chen Beijun said. No, probably the most important thing is to see your growth. After all, you were not among the best in your age group before, but now you are all standing at the top of your grade. So they are also very curious, or they hope to join our fleet and achieve a breakthrough in their own strength. Qin Ji said as he looked at several people. What the commander said is true. Before, I was a little transparent among our first-year students, but after this time, many people came over to make friends with me. And several people have revealed that they hope to let me introduce them to join our large fleet. Zhang Yingwei said to Qin Ji. Qin Ji nodded, well, these are human nature after all. It's understandable. I haven't met that kind of person, but to be honest, I can feel some changes, because the people I usually chat with have become more polite, Zhang Xiaotian said with a smile. Haha, it's good to have changes. I believe there will be more changes in the future, Qin Ji said with a smile. My Ship Girl, My World. Author, Huangming Mu Ji. Chapter 202. A few people chatted for a while on the edge of the training ground, and then they saw a large number of people walking towards here not far away, and the leader was Li Chenming. Wow, there are so many, Wang Yukin said, looking at the large number of people. It's indeed a bit too much. Chen Beijun on the side was a little stunned. Also, although there are about 50 commanders in total, each commander also has a ship girl under his command, so the total number of people totals more than 100, which makes it look like there are a lot of people. After arriving close, Li Chenming stretched out his hand to signal the crowd to stop and line up. He walked to Qin Ji's side, and this time he seemed to be more direct. He saluted Qin Ji first and then spoke. Report to the commander, the people who applied to join our fleet have now been assembled, please give instructions. Hearing Li Chenming's serious words, Su Fei smiled and said, take a break. Yes, Li Chenming answered resoundingly, then turned around, came to everyone, and shouted to everyone, relax. The others did not dare to neglect. After accurately taking a rest position, Qin Ji walked over. Hello, classmates, Qin Ji said to everyone. First of all, I would like to thank everyone for choosing to join our grand fleet. However, everyone must also know that the initial quota for the grand fleet is relatively limited, so we cannot support everyone's choice. And this is one of the purposes for me to gather everyone here. There is no such thing as survival of the fittest in our fleet, because by being able to enter the Commander's Academy, you have already accomplished something that is impossible for ordinary people. But now if we talk about survival of the fittest with you, then there are indeed some lovers. It's difficult. However, because the number of places is limited, I will explain here the principles of our Grand Fleet and the plan of the Grand Fleet. As soon as Qin Ji finished speaking, there was warm applause. Then he raised his hand and pressed it, the applause gradually disappeared, and Qin Ji continued to talk. Our battle fleet was originally established to go to the front line and to the most dangerous areas. This is our purpose, and this will never change. Therefore, what our fleet needs is warriors, fearless brave men, and even more important, commanders who are both wise and courageous and can survive in the most dangerous places. Therefore, our most basic requirement for fleet members is that they have no ties and can go to the most dangerous areas. Facing Qin Ji's voice, the commanders below started discussing in low voices. One of the people standing at the front raised his hand and said to Qin Ji, Teacher Qin Ji, even the front-line combat fleet has offices in the rear. Why do you keep emphasizing the front line? Are you not prepared? Set up an office in the rear. Qin nodded at the man. No, although our fleet has a certain transition period, the ultimate goal is to go to the front line, so I don't care about what's behind. If you have this idea, although I join the front line combat fleet, I can also stay in the rear to deal with other things. Those who have such an idea should give up this idea as soon as possible. After Qin finished saying this, the discussion below became louder, and then several people raised their hands and said, "I'm sorry, Teacher Qin, I may not be able to join your fleet." Qin smiled and shook his head. It doesn't matter, because the division of labor is different, so offshore defense must also be defended, but our fleet does not aim at offshore defense. This is just a different philosophy. I will not laugh at you or embarrass you. If you feel that you do not meet the conditions I mentioned, you can leave on your own without saying hello to me. Thank you. Several people said thank you at the same time, then left the team and walked towards the distance. Looking at the still relatively large number of people, Qin said to everyone, "It seems that everyone is willing to accept joining the frontline combat unit, so I have something to explain to you next." I also explained to everyone the importance of discipline to a team on the challenge stage before. Therefore, orders in our large fleet must be executed. Teacher Qin, if this order is wrong, do we still have to execute it? At this time, a commander below raised his hand and said. Qin nodded, yes, even if this instruction is wrong, it must be carried out firmly. Since we already know that this order is wrong, why do we still carry it out? Many people asked with some confusion. Qin explained, because obeying orders is the bounden duty of soldiers, and if you have the right to question orders, then when every order is issued in the future, you must first think about whether the order is correct, and whether the order is correct it needs to be questioned, and how many urgent matters will be delayed by such a time. So what we need are people who obey orders. Once an order is given, they will do their best to complete it. There is no need to question or overthink. This is the highest discipline of our fleet. Isn't this a bit overwhelming? I cannot do it. If the order is wrong, we will be dead by then. I don't dare to bet. And in the middle of this discussion, another group of people turned around and left the queue, walking in the direction they came from. It seemed that they had given up on joining the large fleet. Qin looked at these people who turned around and left without any emotion at all. Because he had served in the previous World Academy, he naturally knew that obeying orders was the foundation of a team. And our country's military, precisely because of its qualities of obeying orders, obeying commands, being brave and tenacious, strictly observing discipline, and resolutely completing tasks, can make our country stand among the world's powerful countries. Otherwise, inconsistent government orders and multiple orders will inevitably lead to internal chaos and even self-harm. This situation is the most taboo on the battlefield, so for the future of the fleet and for the future victory, obeying orders is the rule of thumb. After this group of people left, Qin originally huge team of fortune tellers was now reduced to less than half. But he didn't mean to stop at all, but said to everyone, "I believe there are freshmen and sophomores in office, and the sophomores are facing graduation and the first years are facing transitioning into sophomores in the second half of the year. If you join my grand fleet, whether you are a first-year student or a second-year student, you must participate in the Siren Tide in October this year. And it is based on a large fleet. Before that, we must also participate in the daily training missions of our large fleet to ensure that the tactics and ship girl training are up to standard." I am just a ship girl now. If I want to participate in such a war, wouldn't it mean that I am going to die? Think about it again. The number of people in the queue continues to decrease.